fancy place Mom loved with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the marina. I should have known something was wrong when they insisted on celebrating my 34th birthday on a Wednesday morning instead of the weekend. Order anything you want, sweetheart, Mom said, squeezing my hand across the table. This is your special day. My brother Connor sat across from me, practically vibrating with excitement. His wife Rachel kept glancing at him and smiling. Dad had that satisfied look he got when he thought he'd solved a problem. We ordered mimosas and overpriced eggs Benedict. Small talk about work, Connor's kids, Mom's garden club. Then Dad cleared his throat in that way that meant important announcement time. Natalie, your mother and I have been discussing your birthday gift. I set down my fork. You didn't have to get me anything. Nonsense. 34 is an important year. He pulled out a folder, actual papers like this was a presentation. We know you've been working so hard with your tech consulting. Always traveling, never settled. So we've made a decision that will benefit the whole family. Here we go, I thought. We're selling the beach house, Dad announced, beaming like he'd just solved world hunger. The beach house. The 3-bedroom Cape Cod-style property on Seabreeze Lane that I'd purchased 6 years ago for $680,000. Selling it. I kept my voice neutral. Yes. We found a buyer willing to pay $950,000. Incredible appreciation, really. Dad pulled out more papers. The closing is next week. We wanted to tell you in person since you've been using it occasionally. Using it occasionally. I'd been using my own property. Connor jumped in, unable to contain himself. Dad and Mom are giving us the proceeds, Nat. All of it. Rachel and I are finally going to open our restaurant. The one we've been dreaming about for years. Rachel nodded enthusiastically. Your parents are so generous. We've already signed a lease on a commercial space. Put down deposits with contractors. We close on the restaurant property the same day as the beach house sale. I took a sip of my mimosa, buying time. That's quite a plan. We knew you'd understand, Mom said warmly. You've always been so practical, so focused on your career. Connor needs this opportunity. He's struggled so much trying to find his path. Connor's path. The one that included 3 failed business ventures, 2 bankruptcies, and a trail of debt that Dad had been quietly paying off for years. When did you list the beach house? I asked. 2 months ago, Dad said. We didn't want to bother you with the details. You're always so busy with work. We handled everything, photos, showings, negotiations. Found a lovely couple from Portland who fell in love with the place. And you've already spent the money? I looked at Connor. Not spent exactly, Connor hedged. But committed. The restaurant lease, the equipment deposits, contractor agreements. It's all contingent on the beach house closing, obviously. Obviously. So you're about $200,000 deep in commitments based on selling a property in 1 week? $240,000, Rachel corrected cheerfully. But it's fine. The closing is locked in. The buyers already did their inspection. It's basically done. I pulled out my phone and opened an app. My property management system that tracked all 15 properties in my portfolio. Dad, who did you use as the listing agent? Sharon Mitchell from Coastal Realty. She's been wonderful. Got us multiple offers over asking price. I searched my phone for Sharon Mitchell's number. Found it. Called right there at the table. Sharon, this is Natalie Chin. Hi. I'm calling about 847 Seabreeze Lane. Yes, that property. I'm sitting with my family right now and they've just informed me they're selling it. They listed it. With their names on the listing agreement? I see. My family watched, confusion starting to creep across their faces. Sharon, I need you to pull the county property records right now. Yes, I'll hold. I looked at Dad. This should be interesting. Natalie, what are you doing? Mom's voice had an edge now. Solving a problem. I turned my phone on speaker as Sharon came back on the line. Miss Chin, I've pulled the records. The property at 847 Seabreeze Lane is owned by... Oh. Her voice changed completely. It's owned by Clearwater Properties LLC, registered agent Natalie Chin. Not Robert and Margaret Chin. Dad's face went white. That's what I thought, I said calmly. Sharon, my parents don't own that property. They never have. Any listing agreement they signed is fraudulent. The sale needs to stop immediately. Oh my God, Sharon breathed. Miss Chin, I'm so sorry. They presented themselves as the owners. They had keys, photos, detailed knowledge of the property. As I let them use it. As guests. Not owners. I looked directly at Dad. Sharon, please contact your broker immediately. This sale cannot proceed. I'm the legal owner and I haven't authorized any sale. I'm calling him right now. Miss Chen, I'm terribly sorry. We'll kill the listing and notify the buyers immediately. Thank you. I hung up. The table was completely silent. Connor's excitement had drained away, replaced by dawning horror. Rachel looked like she might cry. Mom gripped her napkin so hard her knuckles were white. You own the beach house? Dad finally managed. I bought it 6 years ago. Cash purchase, no mortgage. It's in my LLC Clearwater Properties. I've owned it the entire time. But we have keys. We've been going there for years. Because I let you. As my guests. I never told you I owned it because honestly I didn't think I needed to. I assumed you'd check before trying to sell someone else's property. Connor stood abruptly, his chair scraping. This is insane. You let us believe we could sell it. We've signed contracts. We've made commitments. I didn't let you believe anything. You never asked me. You never mentioned you were selling the beach house. You just did it and expected I'd find out at my birthday brunch, apparently as a gift. The restaurant. Rachel's voice rose. We've put deposits down. We signed a lease. What are we supposed to do? That sounds like a conversation you should have had before committing $250,000 based on selling a house you don't own. Dad tried his authoritative voice. Natalie, even if what you're saying is technically true, that house has been in the family. Stop. Just stop. I set my phone on the table. I'm going to say this once. That house is not family property. It's my property. I bought it. I pay the taxes. I pay the insurance. I pay the maintenance. I own it. Not you. Not the family. Me. But we've used it. Mom protested. Every summer, family vacations, Connor's kids' birthdays. With my permission. Which I can revoke at any time. Which I'm doing now, actually. Connor's face went red. You're banning us from the beach house? On your birthday? What kind of person does that? The kind of person whose family just tried to sell her property without permission to fund yet another of your failed business ventures. That's not fair. You've had 3 businesses fail, Connor. 3. Dad bailed you out every time. How much has he spent covering your mistakes? 50,000? 75. The silence confirmed I was in the right ballpark. This restaurant was going to be different, Connor said quietly. This was my chance to finally succeed at something. Then find a way to succeed that doesn't involve stealing my assets. My phone buzzed. A text from Sharon Mitchell. Broker notified. Listing killed. Buyer's agent informed. I'm so sorry this happened. We'll investigate how this passed our verification process. Another buzz. This one from my bank's fraud alert system. Suspicious activity detected on property 847 Seabreeze Lane. Transaction flagged and frozen pending owner verification. I showed the text to Dad. My property management system has fraud protection. The moment Sharon tried to process paperwork for a sale, it triggered alerts. The bank froze everything automatically. We didn't know it was fraud, Dad said weakly. We thought it was family property. He thought wrong. And now Connor is $240,000 deep in commitments he can't meet. Rachel was crying now, quiet tears running down her face. We're going to lose everything. The deposits, the lease, everything. Part of me, a small part, felt bad. But the larger part, the part that had worked 12-hour days to build my consulting business, the part that had carefully invested in real estate to build wealth, that part was furious. You made commitments based on assets you didn't verify you had. That's not my problem to solve. So you'll just let us lose everything? Connor's voice cracked. Your own brother? You were willing to take everything from me without asking. Why should I be more generous than you were? I left the birthday brunch without eating. Let them sit with the check and the consequences. My phone rang within the hour. A number I didn't recognize. Ms. Chen, this is Detective Ramirez with the fraud unit. Your bank flagged a potential property fraud case involving 847 Seabreeze Lane. Can you confirm you did not authorize the sale of this property? That's correct. My parents attempted to sell it without my knowledge or permission. Were they aware they didn't own the property? I thought about Dad's face when Sharon confirmed the deed was in my name. I believe they assumed it was family property. They were wrong. Would you like to press charges? I hesitated. Criminal charges against my own parents? Not at this time. But I want the record to show this was attempted without my authorization. Understood. We'll close the investigation as no charges filed, but the incident will be documented. If it happens again, it won't. After I hung up, I sat in my car in the restaurant parking lot and opened my property management app. 15 properties, 7 states, $4.2 million in total value. The beach house was just one piece of an empire I'd built quietly over 10 years. An empire my family knew nothing about because I'd learned early that money made you a target, not a family member. My phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Then Mom called. Voicemail. Connor sent a text. You're really going to let me lose everything? After everything our family has done for you? I stared at that text for a long time. Everything our family had done for me. Like what? Raise me? That was baseline parenting, not a debt I owed. Pay for college? I'd had scholarships and worked 3 jobs. Help me start my business? I'd bootstrapped everything myself. What they'd actually done was dismiss my success, minimize my career, and assume my assets were theirs to redistribute. I blocked Connor's number. The fallout was spectacular. Connor and Rachel lost their deposits. $240,000 down the drain. The restaurant lease fell through. The equipment vendors kept the down payments. Connor's dream restaurant died before it opened. Dad called it a family tragedy. Mom cried to relatives about how I'd destroyed Connor's future. Extended family members I barely knew sent me messages about family loyalty and helping each other. None of them asked why Connor had tried to sell my property. None of them questioned why my parents had forged listing documents. None of them seemed to care that I'd been the victim of attempted fraud. I blocked most of them. My attorney, Jessica Park, called 3 days after the birthday brunch. Your father's attorney contacted me. They want to negotiate. Negotiate what? They're claiming you gave them verbal permission to sell the beach house. They want you to complete the sale and give Connor the proceeds as a family loan. Actually laughed. No. I told them that would be your answer. But Natalie, they're threatening to sue. Claiming you made promises, led them on, caused financial damages. Let them sue. I have every email, every text, every document. At no point did I authorize anything. They'll lose. I know. The lawsuit was filed 2 weeks later. Robert and Margaret Chin versus Natalie Chin, alleging verbal contract breach and promissory estoppel. Connor was listed as a third-party beneficiary seeking damages. My attorney filed a motion to dismiss within days. The case was so weak it never made it past summary judgment. The judge took one look at the property records, saw my name as sole owner, and threw it out. This court finds no evidence of verbal contract, written agreement, or any authorization for the sale of Ms. Chen's property, the judge stated. The plaintiff's claim is without merit. Case dismissed with prejudice. Dad and Mom were ordered to pay my legal fees. $15,000. Connor stood outside the courthouse afterward, looking broken. Are you happy now? You've destroyed everything. I didn't destroy anything, Connor. You did. You committed $240,000 based on selling something you didn't own. That was your choice. We're family. Family doesn't commit fraud against each other. I wasn't committing fraud. I thought Dad owned the beach house. Did you ask? Did you verify? Did you look at the deed, check the ownership, do any due diligence before risking $250,000? I stepped closer. You didn't because you've never had to be responsible. Dad's always cleaned up your messes. Well, I'm not Dad. Rachel appeared, pulling Connor toward their car. She looked at me with pure hatred. I hope you're proud of yourself. I'm proud I built something worth protecting, I said. And I'm proud I didn't let you steal it. 6 months later, I sold the beach house. Not because my family pushed me, but because the market was strong and I found a better investment opportunity in Colorado. The house sold for $1.1 million. Every penny went into my business account. I bought 2 rental properties in Denver with the proceeds. Dad sent one email after he heard about the sale. You sold thing we need to know about you. I didn't respond. Mom tried a softer approach. I miss my daughter. Can we please talk? I replied, when you can acknowledge what you did was wrong, we can talk. Not before. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No response came. Connor filed for bankruptcy. His second one. Rachel divorced him 6 months later. Dad and Mom downsized to a condo. Their retirement stretched thin from legal fees and bailing Connor out again. My business thrived. My property portfolio grew to 22 units across 9 states. I dated someone who understood that boundaries weren't cruelty, they were self-respect. A year after the birthday brunch, I received a letter. Handwritten. From Dad. Natalie, I've spent a year trying to understand how we got here. Your mother and I genuinely believed the beach house was family property. Not legally, I understand now that we were wrong about that, but morally. We thought because we'd used it for family gatherings, because we'd made memories there, that it belonged to all of us in some way. We were wrong. I see that now. The house was always yours. The generosity by trying to take something you'd never offered to give. Connor has learned hard lessons this year. So have I. I'm sorry we tried to sell your property. I'm sorry we sued you. I'm sorry we put our wants above your rights. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand now. You weren't cruel. You were protecting what you'd built. I should have been proud of that instead of trying to take it from you. That. I read the letter 3 times. It wasn't a full apology. It didn't undo the hurt. But it was something. I didn't respond immediately. But I didn't throw it away either. 2 months later, I sent a text to Mom. Coffee? Her response was immediate. Yes. Please. Saturday. 10 a.m. Downtown. We met at a neutral coffee shop. Mom looked older, smaller. She hugged me tight and didn't let go for a long moment. I've missed you, she whispered. I've missed you too. We sat with our coffees, the silence awkward at first. I read Dad's letter, I said. He meant every word. We both did. She wrapped her hands around her cup. Natalie, we were wrong. About the beach house, about Connor's restaurant, about all of it. We treated your success like it was community property, and that was unfair. It was more than unfair, Mom. It was fraud. She flinched but nodded. Yes, it was. And I'm sorry. What's happening with Connor? He's working construction. Paying off debts. Rachel took the kids to her mother's in Ohio. He sees them once a month. She blinked back tears. He's learning what rock bottom feels like. Maybe that's what he needed. Maybe. But it's hard to watch your child suffer. Even when they cause their own suffering? Especially then. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Mom asked, Can you forgive us? Eventually. I don't know yet. But I'm willing to try. Fully. With boundaries. Boundaries, she repeated. We can do boundaries. No more assumptions about my property. No more treating my assets like family resources. No more bailing Connor out. Agreed. My home, my resources, my time. It's a gift, not an entitlement. Understood. She reached across the table, her hand hovering near mine. I love you, Natalie. I'm proud of what you've built. I should have said that years ago. I let her take my hand. I love you too, Mom. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. My property empire continued to grow. 25 properties. 30. I built it all with clear boundaries and careful documentation. Everything in writing. Everything protected. Connor eventually sent a text. I get it now. What you were protecting. I'm sorry I tried to take it. I responded, thank you. That was enough. For now. The beach house was gone, but the lesson remained. My success was respect that didn't belong in my empire.